Hey y'all, I'm Sean.
I'm Matthew, and we are Broken Dreams Reborn.
And today we're going to give you our review of the Bear Cave Thousand Trails Resort in Buchanan, Michigan. Stay tuned to the end of the video and we'll tell you why we are not going back to Bear Cave. Okay, question 1. What type of hookups are available?
There are sites that have electric, water, and sewer, and then there are a majority of the available sites that just have water and electric. Our site had 50 amp. Some of them that just have the water and electric, I'm not sure if they're 50 or 30.
Okay. Oh, and what was the thing with the water? We had to share water.
Yeah, we had to share water, at least where we were with the adjoining campsite. There were 2 water spigots on each side, but you did have to share a water pedestal, if that's what it's called. I'm not sure.
Right. Number 2, what type of sites did they have?
We had a back-in site, and I believe all of their sites are back-in. I don't think they have any pull-through.
And the sites were grass?
Yeah, grass. There's some of them that were more dirt than grass, but yeah, that kind of thing.
And were the sites spacious?
Some are, some aren't. I wish, I know that sounds like a generic answer that's not very helpful, but some are, some aren't. Ours was huge, some of them aren't. It really just depends.
We had a very nice site, but it's some big rigs will not fit. I mean, they would fit in our site, but a lot of the sites they would not fit.
The sites aren't universally sized, I guess we could put it that way.
Also, our site, I don't know if you mentioned, had a picnic table and a fire ring.
Yeah, they did. Or ours did, yeah.
This is our site at Bear Cave Campground in Buchanan, Michigan, part of the Thousand Trails. And we're at site 158. It's a pretty long site, and our fifth wheel is a 36-foot fifth wheel. You get a fire ring, a picnic table, plenty of space to park your truck. It's grass sites, but where the RV is packed in gravel. And the sites are kind of staggered, where your back window isn't butted up against another RV, but you get to see their campsite. Here's the electric. You get 50 amp. And here's the water. You share a water spout with one other site. And you get sewer. We picked a site with full hookups, so we get sewer, but not all the sites have full hookups. And there's a dumpster down there on the corner, and I think they have like 2 or 3 more dumpsters if that one gets full. Okay, is there anything significant worth mentioning about the RV park infrastructure, like the roads, the trees, and a gate to get into it?
Just from a factual perspective, just to list off the facts of the question, there is, the road coming in is what I would call either a wide single lane or maybe 1.5 lanes, and it's curvy, and it has at some point it has brush and tree on both sides, and on some points there's grass on one side where somebody could pull over, but you're going to have to pass people going in on that road. And then the main gate to go in is a sliding gate, slides back and forth, and it's only one vehicle wide, period. Then when you pull through, there's a guard shack, which they don't use, but it's there. And what else do we mention? The conference tree. Now, there's a historic tree, and as you may know from watching some of our videos, we appreciate the history of places. However, this one tree is inopportune, to say the least. It is, I think, 11 feet tall. They have a sign, it's clearly marked, but you might not notice it till you get right up to it, and then you have to back up. It'll tell you how big it is so you don't clobber it. But it's just in one part. It's not in the main part. It's on a back loop, so if you're going that way, all of a sudden you'll see this sign on the tree with a clearance like it's a bridge, so can't miss it.
And you do need a code for the gate, and they change the code once a week, but the manager usually inform you when they're going to change the code, but that's the only way you're getting in there.
Yeah, the manager should tell you. It's not a super huge RV park, so she usually is pretty good about that.
So I think that's all about the infrastructure. The trees, once you get in there, they didn't really have, besides that historic tree, the other trees look like they're well maintained as far as getting down the roads and stuff and in the sites.
I don't remember any of them being horrendously overgrown. There were probably a few, but not consistently, not nearly as bad as we've seen in other parks.
And while we're still on the sites before we move on, would you consider the sites easy to back into?
I would say on the road that we were on, they were easy to back into, because there was, if you're sitting in your site looking at the road you just backed off of, there is a like grass on the other side, so you can swing your truck around to straighten out and back in. It's not like it's Tetris, so it's, it was a good street.
The street we were on face to fence, so we had a lot more room, but then there were RVs that back up to our RV, and then like they seem to have a more difficult time, because then right across the street from them was RVs and trucks and cars parked, and sometimes, a lot of times actually, the neighbors had to get out and move vehicles so people could swing in. So like we said before, it just depends what site you get. But
as we've said before in other videos, do not be afraid to ask people politely if they would move their vehicle for you, because I guarantee you they will appreciate you, no matter what you're interrupting in their day, that you're looking out for their vehicle as well as your own. So people will almost always hopefully move their vehicle, so don't be afraid to get out and ask. Don't take chances.
Right. Next is amenities available. They have a lot.
Go ahead with this one.
They have a laundry room. Here's the laundry room. They have a shower house. I think they had 2 shower houses, one by the laundry room and one was over by the pool. Bathhouse. And each shower has a door and a shower curtain, so you can latch the door. That's nice. They have 4 shower stalls. They had a dump station, because like we said, it's an RV park that does not have all full hookups. They have an arcade. They have a community room, which is connected with the arcade, where you can gather, and they have tables and stuff in there.
Pretty large community room too.
Was.
And the community room, the arcade community room on the backside had a view of the lake, so it was nice.
There's a deck back there.
They
had a pool, a hot tub, They have river access. I mean, they had like a boardwalk that went along the river.
Did they have a boat launch there?
Yes, they had
did.
people that had some boats there. I think you can fish in the river as well.
Yeah.
They had the historic Bear Cave, which you can only access through the office.
Worth it. You should try it.
They have a waterfall. They have a campground store. Their property is very beautiful to walk around. We enjoyed walking around the property.
They have a covered walking bridge too.
That's really nice. And they had dumpsters at least in 2 places that we saw while we were there.
Yeah, we never hurt for places to throw our trash.
Yes. So how close is Walmart and other shopping?
So the nearest town is Buchanan, and in Buchanan, Michigan, they have, as we mentioned in our other video on Bear Cave, they have Lowry's Meat Market, which you should go to. It's in the back of the meat market when you walk in the front door. They also have your traditional fast foods and Subway and that kind of stuff. But as far as Walmart goes, we have the nearest Walmart being in Niles, Michigan, about 13 miles away. So that's the nearest Walmart. There are a couple more that aren't much farther than that, so you can take your pick which one you want.
And also, one other thing, in Buchanan, they have a car washing place, like self-car washing place that you can pull your truck into and wash it yourself. So that was very convenient because our truck got pooped on a lot by the birds.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the trees there in Bear Cave, and it drove us nuts. So
yes, it did.
We had to go wash it. The next one is, how is the internet?
Crummy. The internet was spotty at best. We were there for 2 weeks? And the first week the internet was unusable. And I mean, to check an email, you would sit there and sit there and sit there. Oh, sorry, timed out. And then the second week, it was marginally useful. So, and we work online, so we're especially attuned to whether or not we have good internet speeds. It's not like, oh man, we couldn't do Netflix or something, which we don't do that anyways, but we couldn't stream Roku channels. It wasn't that. It's that even just a text file had a hard time going through the first week, but the second week was marginally useful, so I can't explain why it's not consistent. If you look on the AT&T coverage maps and Verizon, it's probably great. But, you know, real life isn't always what they claim.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. We have AT&T, and we do check the coverage maps before we go to areas, and they always tell us it's good, and then we get there and it's not good. And we did not speak with anybody about Verizon, so we're not sure how Verizon is.
We don't know the real life results of Verizon.
Right. Okay, the pros.
The property was very nice. This is a beautiful property, and being down by the lake, especially if you get it like in the morning or in the evening when it's not very busy, it's an absolutely beautiful property. Or not the lake, the river.
St. John's River.
St. John's River. It is really, really nice. The cave is historic. Before you go down in the cave, they have plaques on the wall that tell you, or signs that tell you the history of it that goes way back. The waterfall, the scenery, the manager was very nice. What else do we have for pros? The manager was very nice. She went out of her way to make sure, she went and knocked on her door to make sure that we had the new gate code when she changed it. I'm not used to managers going out of their way like that, so she did a fantastic job.
And something that you never hear of hardly in RV parks, you cannot hear any trains or highways. I mean, it is back. This property is back some back roads, and it's just
behind some trees.
It's just tucked up in there, up on a hill almost, and it's very, very quiet. The cons.
Well, at this particular Thousand Trails, you cannot receive mail. I do remember talking to the manager, not about this, but they were, of course, overworked, understaffed. That's probably every RV park you're going to find. So either they weren't able, or maybe it's just their policy, but when the point we were there, they could not receive mail for the regular camp guest.
And one of the cons is also, why is the shared water pedestal a con?
Because in our experience in multiple campgrounds now, you have people who do not know proper sanitation. They do not know how to clean things such as your stinky slinky, your sewer hose, the elbow that comes off of it, various devices. They don't know how to clean those without spraying it everywhere. They spray it right off at the actual water pedestal instead of using a hose and going out 5 feet. The other thing is there are some shared water pedestals where people don't know how to use it. They look at it and I don't know, maybe you have to be an engineer. I don't think so, but they turn off your water, then they turn on their water, and by the time they're all done, you've got no water and they do. So I don't like shared water because of, not because it's not designed well, but because other people can't seem to figure out how to use it or use it in a sanitary way. I mean, you got to be clean or things could happen.
And it's your space. That's where you have your stuff, your water hose and your hookups, and it's just too close for comfort when people are messing around your water filter and stuff like that is how I feel about it.
We made good use of Clorox wipes. They would go, we didn't say anything, we just wipey, you know, make it nice and clean.
The next con was the road coming in.
Yeah, that was a first for us. We've been hearing from other people that they are experiencing this at many other RV parks and places, and it's not uncommon, but it was our first time going on a narrow road with two-way traffic with an RV. Not my favorite thing, especially since it's nothing but trees. I don't understand why they couldn't cut down some trees and make some more cutouts for people to pass safely without bunching up into the woods, but that's not my favorite entrance. And the gate to get in could be wider. It's wide enough for any size rig. You're not going to scrape side to side, but it's only wide enough for one rig. They should make it wide enough for two. I've seen plenty of places that have gates that are sufficient for two people.
And if you don't know what we're talking about or don't understand about the road, we do have a video. We'll link it below as we drove in there while we were towing, what we experienced driving in there. And also another con when it comes to the gate is where they have the guard shack.
Well, yeah, the guard shack is like right in the middle. If you drive through that gate and you kept going straight without turning, you'd hit part of the guard shack. Now, it's not normally such a big deal because you can turn either direction, but when you're leaving, it's more of a hassle, and especially if you have a long trailer and they don't use it. I mean, they just don't use it. So why have it? Just get rid of it.
A next con is you have to fight for your site. And the reason that is a con is because not every site is full hookup.
Yeah, and in this particular RV park, like many thousand trails, unfortunately, it's a lot of seasonal people, and the only reason I'm bringing that up in a negative light, not that they're bad people or anything, is because once they're there and they get a lot of the good sites. And so most of the full hookup sites go to the seasonals. There are not that many full hookup sites and the manager told us this before we got there, for the nomads, the travelers, the temporaries, the weekend warriors, the part-timers. You and I don't get to share that many sites that have full hookups. Most of their availability is for partial hookups without sewer. And for us, you know, we have laundry in our RV, and, you know, we enjoy taking long showers in the RV and stuff, and it would be nice for us to be able to have sewer when we go there. So we were blessed that we got a good site. But right after we got there, man, they closed up shop. No more good sites.
In the tip the manager said was go to the site first and then check in.
And she said people the previous year, I think a couple of old men had gotten into blows over it, and I'm like, really? But that's not the norm, but it had happened with a couple of hotheads, so keep your cameras rolling, I guess.
Our last con was the internet, which we've already explained. It wasn't very good.
That rolls into our last question.
So number 9, when we come back, we're answering the question of why we're not coming back.
The internet.
The internet.
It's not the road. You can get used to that. If you check out our other video, you'll see it was scary, but we made it. We got to have internet to work. There's no more explanation than that. And if it works one week and it doesn't work the other week, well, we got to work both weeks.
But if you don't need internet, we would highly recommend Bear Cave. If you do need internet, it's hit or miss, at least with AT&T. We're not sure about Verizon, but AT&T was...
And even with Starlink, depending on your site, because of tree cover, if Starlink was if you're watching this way in the future when Starlink is everywhere, then maybe it could work for people who don't have a lot of tree cover. We had a lot of tree cover over ours, but there were sites that didn't. So it depends.
So that's our review of Bear Cave. If any of y'all have been to Bear Cave, then leave us a comment about what your experience was like at Bear Cave. Or if you had Verizon, you can leave a comment, because people do read our comments and it would be very helpful for them.
Yeah.
If there's anything we didn't answer for our Bear Cave review, also leave us a comment. And we love engaging with y'all.
If you'd like to see us again, hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'd love to visit you each and every week, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.
And give us some love by thumbs up too. Bye, y'all.
Bye.